check out the rain tonight, guys. Man, of course, as always, you pick up the camera just a hair too late. This is Ash Wednesday night, Ash Wednesday evening, February 14th, 2018. And it's getting on towards 7:15 in the evening, or more properly, 19:15 in the evening. So, Paul's supposed to come over and pick up his clothes, but he hasn't done that yet. Get them out of the dryer, but I'm not going to hold my breath on that one, so we'll see. So hello, YouTubers. Again, it is kind of sublime, isn't it, the way the rain bounces off the road and stuff with those street lights out there. I don't know, sublime probably is not, maybe a bit of an overwrought term for that phenomenon. But it is pretty. It's interesting to watch, let's put it that way. Now, Paul's supposed to come up, as I had mentioned, but I don't think that's going to happen. If he does, that's fine. Maybe we'll sit here and who knows? Meanwhile, today, here, as is always the case here on the Joe Kersey channel, unexpected things happen and things develop. Now, my intention today was basically just take it moderately easy, and then perhaps tomorrow or the day after I'll look into doing, see if I can track down some tax stuff, or I have a feeling that's going to be another 2 weeks, 3 weeks out of the barn on that. But I did want to finish watching this series on YouTube, but it was actually originally on the BBC, called The Aristocrats, or Aristocrats. It's one of these great 18th century period pieces that goes from like the mid-1700s up until just before the 1800s, actually into the 1800s, into just the early Regency period. It's all very, in terms of its costumes and its setting, it's very historically accurate. I guess there's one little historical anomaly that some of the people in the comments have pointed out. The first 3 episodes are fairly good. The first 2.5 episodes are very good. And then it sort of turns into like a chick thing. But it's worth a look in. It's got all these great British actors. Well, I've always said there's only about, at any given time, there's only about 20, 25 British actors anyway over there doing stuff. So you've seen all these people and other things where you're going, I've seen this guy, I've seen this guy, I've seen this woman, I've seen this woman. Okay, so we did that a bit. And of course, as always the case, Joe wants to get laid. Yeah, I make no secret about that. But Joe also wants to kind of maybe ideally meet somebody that perhaps he can meet somebody, Well, those of you who watch me know that I've had a couple of, I've been overtly scammed at least once, probably twice, and then had my heart broken last year. I found this guy on the internet, by the way, where he races motorcycles on Sundays. I couldn't bring myself to really track it down any further right now because I know it's just going to hurt too damn much. So I didn't. Meanwhile, there's a guy named Chris on Surge that got hold of me. Yes, I've joined Surge again. I was on it for about 2 weeks. I couldn't make heads or tails of it, so I dropped out of it. I decided to sign back up to it. I still can't understand how to make heads or tails of it. And we went back and forth here for about an hour, and he says, well, what do you do? I said, I'm a retired anesthesiologist. I said, what do you do? So I said, what do you do? And there's this long pause, you know. And eventually he says, let's just do the correct quote. That's nice, he says, in response to my saying I'm a retired anesthesiologist. He says, I'm a staff sergeant in the military and currently deployed in Syria on mission, but will be back home in a month's time. Then, after a pause, if you're cool with my current location and job, we can keep talking. Well, a bit of a background here. About 10 days ago, I was talking with another guy on Grindr, and he also, strangely enough, seemed to be a staff sergeant in Syria, only he was going to get home in 2 months' time. I didn't even go back to him on this one. But this guy, I said to him, having been scammed by 2 people with similar stories after they got their iTunes cards. Now, this guy didn't ask me for an iTunes card, nor did the last one. Obviously, the guy before that had done, or the last 2 had done that. I'll maintain a bit of an open mind, but if you are legitimate, I have no problem with this. And I said, to prove you are legitimate, and here we go. And here's the way to separate out the wheat from the chaff on these dudes. To prove you're legitimate, give me your military email address. Because they all have a military email address. And they're all allowed to give it out. No, I haven't heard back from the guy. I don't think I'm going to hear back from him. I must have a fucking sign on my head or something. Good grief. Well, I'm slow in the uptake, but, 3rd time's the charm with me. You fuck me 3 times, I jolly catch on. Whether I've enjoyed it or not. So there we are, guys. There we are. That's Joe's bit of adventure here. Meanwhile, Paul hasn't showed up yet. He said, it might be around 8. Well, and it's not 8 yet. It's like 7. It's like 1925. Okay, well, we'll see. That's been pretty much my adventure today. I am looking forward to eating some food tonight here once I get Paul's clothes cleared out of here. And I can kind of settle down and unlax and do my own thing. Talk about a Merle Welch holding you in place technique. I mean, good Lord. I wish I could learn how to do that. Except I don't like to manipulate people, at least that way. I mean, if I'm going to manipulate people, I like to do it in more overt, but yet subtle way. My son and his wife and grandson got their new dog, the new Holly Labrador dog. The vet thinks she's about 3 years old. And Thomas sent me a great picture of her on the couch with Carter, and Carter's got his hand on her, and of course he's looking at his iPad. Meanwhile, the dog's looking at Carter. She's enjoying me with Carter. So I'll be very anxious to meet this dog. So on that note, I'm going to say bye-bye, YouTubers. All right. I'll stop that now. Bye-bye.